Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael, and if you've got your first piece of cast iron and you're looking on how to season it and get it ready to go, stick with me and I'm going to show you what I do to get my cast iron ready to start cooking in. So I've recently purchased this 3.2 quart combo cooker from Lodge, and it comes in two pieces. And this could be your base if you wanted to use this like for deep frying stuff. You could put your oil and things in there. It's got really deep sides on it. If you haven't seen that video where I did the unboxing, I took measurements and everything, I'll put that link in the description box below. You can go check that out. And this one also comes with another skillet, or it could be a lid, or it could be the top to your Dutch oven if you want to use it as a Dutch oven. Or if you like to bake breads, you can turn it over and you can put your dough in this piece here, and this will be the dome for your Dutch oven that you'll be using to make your bread in. So with any new piece of cast iron that I get in, I always take it to the sink and give it a wash. And I'm going to be using soap on it. And this will be the one and only time that I'll ever use soap on the cast iron skillet. As it's brand new, I don't want to take a chance on the soap breaking down the grease or the oils that we're going to be putting on it. If you had a piece that was heavily seasoned, and if you got it from your grandmother or your mother, it's been passed down from generations to generations, that's probably got a real good seasoning on it that it probably wouldn't hurt anything to put just a little bit of soap on it. But with something that's brand new, and this does come pre-seasoned from Lodge, and I'm just going to give it a little bit more seasoning today, I'm not going to take a chance on that ruining my seasoning as I continue to build it up. So this will be, I'm going to take it to the sink. This will be the one and only time that I'll use soap on it, and I'll come back and I'll move on to my next step. Stick with me. All right, I'm back and we've got our pans washed now, and I'm just going to take a cloth here and I'm going to get this excess water off of it. The reason I do take it to the sink and give it a wash, because it might have some of the processing on it that came from the factory, any kind of shavings and things that they might have done when they sanded it down and got it ready to ship out. So I always just give it a good wash, and we want to make sure that we get it nice and dry. All right, now that I've got it nice and dry, I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm going to turn it on to 225, and I'm going to leave it in there for about 10 minutes. And that way this will get this dry all the way on the outside of it, and it'll open up those pores so that when we get ready to put our oils into it, it will accept it a little bit better. When you get ready to put these in the oven, I'm just going to put the rack down on the bottom, one of the lower levels in the oven. I'm going to turn them upside down, let them sit in there for 10 minutes and heat up. That'll get that water, if there's any of that residual off the outside of it, and they'll open up those pores so that we can get ready to start talking about the oils that we'll be using for our seasoning. Stick with me and we'll be right back. All right, I am back, and my cast iron is now in the oven. It is heating up on that 225 degrees. And again, that's for 10 minutes. And we're just wanting to open those pores up and make sure that that cast iron gets really dry from where we just washed it. And you might be asking, why do we even need to season cast iron? Well, if you don't put oil on cast iron, it will rust. And so as you cook with it and clean it, if you don't re-season it after you've used it, it will start to rust on you. And you definitely don't want that to happen. So we put a layer of oil on it, and that retards that rust from building up on that. And that will also, as that builds up on that, and as you use it, it will put that non-stick finish that we like on that naturally as it occurs. So as you use your cast iron and you put oil in it and you cook things in it, that's going to be the best way that you're going to get that non-stick finish on it. But to get it started and to continue to season it after you get it clean, you need to use some type of oil. And there's a lot of different oils and things you can use. I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother and mother used to use lard, because that's what we had back then, and it just put lard on it. But you can use lard, it's really good for it too. But if you're going to store it for any length of period of time, lard is not good, because if you store it, it will go rancid on you. So definitely, if that's what you're going to use, or that's what you have is lard, then if it's something that you're going to be using daily and regularly, that's fine. But if you're going to put it away and store it for a while, it could have that opportunity for that lard to go rancid on that, and you definitely don't want that to happen to your cast iron. So you can use Crisco. I've used this. This is what I predominantly use on all my cast iron, and my carbon steel that I've got is Crisco. It's readily available, and it's readily affordable that you can use it for that too. One of the other things that you can use is an avocado oil. This has a really high flash point on it, and this is really good to use also on that. And I've got a grapeseed oil. This also has another flash point on it. So if you look at this, it says high heat cooking on this, deep frying, and this says the same thing on the front of this. It says 500 degrees Fahrenheit, high heat, all-purpose cooking oil. So whatever you've got on hand, check to see what the flash point is of the oil, because that's what you want to know when you put that into the oven as you're getting ready to start seasoning this, you can't turn the oven up any higher than that, or it could take the chance of that burning on that. So definitely check the oil that you've got, see what the flash point is, and then you'll be safe to use to go ahead and get that started seasoning. I'm going to be using Crisco today. It's what I've always used on all of mine, and it's worked perfect over the years. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. As soon as I get that cast iron out, we'll move on to the next step and get that seasoning started. All right, I've got my cast iron out of the oven now, and I've got one of these little silicone holders here for the handle. Definitely want to put something on there. You definitely don't want to be touching this. If you want to use a glove, you can do that. I've got this one sitting on a cork trivet. You definitely want to protect your surface, whatever you're using with. And then I've got this one over here. I've got this one on a metal trivet that's sitting on there. So definitely take some precautions as you take this out of the oven. It will be hot. You definitely don't want to burn your cutting board like I've got mine sitting on here, or you don't want to do any damage to your countertop if that's what you're using. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to take some of my Crisco, and you can use a paper towel to put this on, and then you want some type of a cloth here, and this is what I use, this cloth here, when I get ready to wipe it off. So we're going to put just a little bit of a layer on all of this, and we're going to put this on all the surfaces, and I'm going to make sure I've got my handle on there for my protection. And you can see here that that's going to melt that right away because that did open that up, and we want to put that on every surface of that metal that we've got there. And I've got a towel here on this also to kind of help it protect it from getting any of that grease on the outside on the board or anything like that. So definitely just give that a wipe down. If you need to grab you some more, go ahead and do that. Put it on the bottom. Put it on this extra little handle that we've got over here. Just be careful with it as this is hot. All right, now I'm going to pull this handle up here, and I'm actually going to put some on the handle here because we want every bit of that metal surface on that to be covered with that. All right, now I'm going to take my rag that I've got here, and I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off. You're thinking, why are we wiping this off? You just put that on there. You don't want any of that extra oil on there. You just want to put just a thin layer on it, and we're going to wipe the rest of it off of it. If you've ever had a cast iron skillet that felt sticky, or if you've ever known anybody that's ever had one that was sticky, is when they were seasoning it, they left too much of the oil in it, and it will make it feel sticky as it sets up on it, and you definitely don't want that. So it will cover the pores on this with just that little bit of oil that we've got there. We want to take it and we want to turn it over and wipe all that excess off the outside. We don't want that doing the same thing there. Just give that a wipe down. And with the cloth that I've got here, this cotton little rag that I've got, you won't see any lint and things. Sometimes you might get some lint on it from the paper towels, and you definitely want to get that off because that could bake into your finish as it is. So now I've got my oven turned up to 450, and I'm going to put this back in there, and I'm going to cook both of these for 1 hour on 450. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them upside down and put them on the rack just like this. If you need to put a second rack in your oven, you can definitely do that. Put one on there. You don't want to cram them up. So if you think there might be any oil drippings or anything on there, you can definitely put a piece of aluminum foil under it like that. And that way, if you didn't get a lot of that oil off of there, it definitely would not hurt the oven itself to drip down in there. So this is going to be my first coating. I'm going to do the same thing to this one over here. Put this back in the oven. This will go in there upside down just like this, and we're going to cook it for 1 hour. Once that 1 hour goes off, you're going to turn your oven off. You'll leave the cast iron in the oven. You're going to let it cool for 1 hour, and we're going to repeat the process again, and we're going to do that 4 times. And we'll look at this when it comes out of the oven after our first prep here of our seasoning of our cast iron skillet stick. I am back, and here we are now ready for step 2. So we're going to do the same thing we did the first time around. We've got our tissue here, or our paper towel, and we're going to make sure we've got something on the handle because this is really hot, and we're going to put another coating of our seasoning in our pan. We want to make sure that we get all of the surfaces on this covered, again with another layer of our shortening or any of the oils that you decide that you're going to use for yours, and get that handle covered as well. And then we're going to turn that over, be really careful, and do the bottom. If you need to get a little bit more shortening, grab you some more shortening to make sure that you get everything covered on the outside as well. Now that we've got that second layer on our pot, let's go ahead and get that rag, and we're going to wipe it off. We don't want any excess oil on there because we don't want it to be sticky. We want a good, nice coating on that for that non-stick finish. Turn this back over, and we'll do the same thing to the inside. We want to make sure we get all of that off the handle. We definitely don't want that sticky oil on that outside of that. All right, we're going to put this back into that 450 degree oven. We're going to cook it 1 more hour, turn off the heat, let it sit in the oven with the door closed, let it cool down for 1 more hour, and we'll be back for round 3. Stick with me. I am back and we're ready for the 3rd round of our seasoning here. So I've got my oven back on 450 degrees and we're heating that back up. We'll take a little bit of our shortening. Make sure you've got your handle on there to protect your hand because this is still a little warm. Put every surface we've got with a little bit of that oil. We'll put it back in the oven for another hour. Once it cooks for an hour on 450, we'll turn it off, leave everything in the oven with the door closed, let it cool down, and I'll see you back at round 4. We're ready for the 4th round of our seasoning, so we're just going to repeat the same process that we've done in the other 3. We'll grab a little bit of our shortening, put it in, and we're going to cover all those surfaces. Make sure that oven is on 450. We'll cook this in the oven again, upside down for 1 hour. Turn it off, let it rest for an hour, and I'll be back and show you the finished product. I am back and we've completed our 4 seasonings of our pans now, and I wanted to show you what that looked like. We've got a nice finish on these. It's not going to be as smooth as it will be as you continue to use these, and that's going to be the best way that you'll be able to season these, is just use them, use them, use them. That's going to continue to build up that nice smooth surface on the pan itself, and that's what's going to make it non-stick. So we've got a nice start to it, and I think these look really nice. I hope you like this content, and if you do, maybe you might consider giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And leave me a comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Do you have cast iron? Is this your first piece of cast iron that you're going to get and you're going to be seasoning? I'd love to hear from you. And check out one of these other 2 videos over here on the side. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye now.